So, a student wrote to me and asked me about what is the relationship between this notion of the unity of opposites, which is really common, and in philosophy and in contemporary discourse, like in Jungianism, for instance. And it's often presented as like the highest form of unity and also an ethical ideal, right? So people will say, well, why does reality look so contradictory? It's because ultimately the true reality is this unity of contradictory things. And also, what is the best way to be is to mimic that, and it's to synthesize all the contradictions in yourself, right? And so the ideal man is the man who somehow has managed to bring all of his contradictory appetites and desires. So let's say his libido and his desire for purity, his contemplative and his active side, all together in one thing. And I'm not going to deny this is like truly a valuable ethical ideal, and I draw a lot from it too. But is it the ultimate unity, right? Is it really the source of all things, or is it maybe just a step in that direction? So, Plato, in his Philebus, he tells us about a method for studying anything, really, which sees everything as it were as a mixture between what he calls things that are unlimited, things that are infinite, and things that are limited or things that are limit, right? And so in any case, you're going to have, as it were, like if you're studying human beings, and what does it mean to be a human being? So there are infinite varieties of human being, right? There's so many particular individuals, and depending on how you compare them, you can see that some things are important, some things aren't important, like depending on your point of view. So this is really the unlimited in humanity. And of course, humanity itself is just one thing. It's as it were a unity. So it's an unset of limit. And the the Philebus describes, as it were, a method for you to go from this original simple humanity to embracing all its infinite examples or instances, not by jumping from one to the other, but by slowly articulating humanity, as it were, into its natural parts, right? And so, for instance, in his myth of the androgyne in the Symposium, he divides original humanity into male, female, and androgynous. And in the Phaedrus, you get this division of humanity, of the souls, into the 12 choruses of the gods, right? So I'm not going to go into that. But the point there is that Plato distinguishes these four things: limit, unlimited, the mixture of the two, and the cause of mixture. And when we're talking about the unity of opposites, the mixture of limit and infinity is really um, the mixture of like the example of the unity of opposites here, right? So uh, so I really think that this is uh, what Plato would say about this ideal of the unity of opposites. And what's important is that this is distinguished from the cause of mixture, which is unity itself, right? And so if we go to Proclus Platonic theology, he talks on the one hand, the one thing is, for instance, the living being itself, right? The original animal, which is, as it were, the perfected mixture, where it's a mixture of all the powers of all the gods, or yeah, all the powers of all the gods, and they are totally synthesized with each other. And sometimes I have described this as it were, like the highest unity of opposites. However, the true principle of reality isn't this mixture, because the individual gods that we experience as opposed and opposite and pulling us in different directions, they are the ultimate elements. So we have to think of each of the gods in their sovereign individuality. They are, as it were, the ground for the great living being itself, right? The great mixture, the totality. And therefore, unity itself is what is the principle that's embodied, or rather, more than embodied, it is somehow instantiated in each of these, it's somehow identical with each of these perfectly simple, unified gods, you know. And so that's why unity is not the principle, it's not mixture itself. And so we don't aspire to unity by simply mixing all our contradictory parts. That's certainly part of it, and that's very close to what we want. But ultimately, when we seek our own unity, we want to be ourselves, right? And this selfhood is something simple. It's something it's the unity that can unite all the contradictory parts of ourselves. And it's that selfhood which is the ultimate principle of all things, not the unity of opposites. The unity of opposites is, in some sense, it's one of its primary products, right? One of the primary things that comes to be based on unity itself, right? Grounded in unity itself. So this is how, as it were, Platonist would see the contemporary discourse about unity of opposites, and that unity of opposites is somehow the highest ideal, and things like that. I hope this really helps my student, Vinicius, and also anyone else who's interested in this in these issues.